Namaste, Sat Shri Akal Guruji and Guruji's Sangat. Preface of Granth, Light of Divinity. This book of blessings began at Shri Guruji's behest. Those whom he would ask to narrate or write down their satsangs would offer them to him. He would then pass it on for his website and his book. 2 years ago, one did not know the reason for the exercise. Now it is apparent. Despite a year of labor, the book could not be laid at his lotus feet. He had not meant it to be so. These are not just cherished and unique memories. These are experiences in and of faith. They are the first movements of love towards the divine. They embody the ever-living Spirit. They are sacrosanct. May they bring His blessings into our lives wherever you read them. Acknowledgements. Many people, not just from within the Sangat, helped in shaping and bringing out this book in the true spirit of service. Kiran Tandon, Neelam to Guruji, put the design to work, read through, edited and proofed the pages as many times as required, and then went through pre- and post-press processes. Without her support and generous sponsorship, this edition would not have come to pass. She and her husband Vikram kept the faith. Raghu Rai contributed for the cover and the Bade Mandir. Karan Khanna shared many of his photographs, time and help. These photographs are not to be reproduced without his consent. Aditya Pandey conceptualized the master design of this edition and bore with our pressing demands on his time. Sudhir Kumar laid out the pages. Sumit Chetra helped at all times and remains the other wheel of this project that Shri Guruji initiated. Several people who would wish not to be named advised, helped and sponsored this book and also contributed photographs. For the first edition, too, many people gave unstingingly. May Guruji's blessings be with them all. Thank you, Jeetu, who held the pen with Guruji's blessings. To beloved Guruji, dear Father, Soul Creator, please accept a humble offering. Awal Allah नूर उपाए, कुदरत के सब बंदे, एक नूर से सब जग उपजे, कौन भले कौन मंदे. Shri Guru Simran, our motherland has been blessed with the presence of Mahapurushs who have, since millennia, been the helmsmen of its destiny. It is to them, in their sheer power to invoke, nurture, and protect Dharma, that the country owes its survival. It is to them that we owe the sustenance of our faith and nurturing of our unique, all-embracing ethos. These immortal sons of God have been the teachers of this country since a past unknown to historians and only allegorically represented in myths. India, with its great brood of men and women, has sat patiently before the seat of the Mahapurushs and listened. And what it listened to has been unstingingly to all lands, to all men. For India is beloved of the saints, its streams, its hills, its placid plains, its icy peaks, of a yearning for the divine, that it is its lifeblood, its line of fate. And the divine has often answered the call and descended to the humble abode of man. Within our era, Guruji was the embodiment of the divine. He was the Mahapurush of our age. He came to lift humanity out of the morass of materialism. He came to guide it to its righteous duty. He came to lessen the sorrow of man, to show him his true image, to teach him the forgotten art of love and of sharing. He came to revive Dharma and to replant it in more conducive surroundings. He said that he was an evolution of divine light. He was not a body, a personality for him. These were, so to say, the bodily dresses of existence. He was the blooming flower, and the devotees were the humming bees, coming for divine nectar. They were drawn, and they fell in love with him. And he taught them love, renunciation, and wisdom, the very virtues on which India stands. There are no words to describe or evoke a Mahapurush like Guruji, for words cannot capture the infinite. Like signposts, they can only indicate the way and help the traveler along. They are merely, with the blessing of Guruji, catalysts. They are not him, and therefore they should be taken as tools and discarded once they have been made use of. He was known to all of us by a common noun that is perhaps the most common in a land of faith, Guruji. Yet this Vatik word contained a vast hoard of meaning and energy. If a disciple ever made so bold as to ask him what his name was, he would say that Mahapurushs have no name. And with this statement, he told us who he was, an ambassador of God, the King of all the worlds, nay, him himself. For the Guru is God, the Guru who no one knows else but God. The Guru has no separate identity, that of God. It is now said that he attained Mahasamadhi on 31st May 2007, and we believe it because we had begun to know him as a body and as a personality. We had become attached to him, but in the blink of an eye, his body was gone. He drew the curtains on the role he chose to play, for he was an avatar, a descendant of divinity into flesh. He was Shiva, Nanak, and love incarnate. His Maya was powerful, and at its beginning behest, we saw him as a body and as a person. Yet it was never so. He was, as and is, Ekonkar. And he remains. He remains as our Holy Father, and we remain forever his children. Errant, it seems till we learn to listen to him as India always has, patiently, fully. It is said, and it is true, that by merely listening to the Guru, one becomes enlightened. Listen well, then with these pages, these satsangs, to what Guruji has to say. It is his gift to his beloved children, and it is his word to you. A finger that points to the moon. Imagine a towering mountain and a blemishless mirror fused into one. Imagine, if you can, that this mountain was made of incandescent light, and imagine that you were put before this mountain, your breath frozen in your throat. You looked at it. This is what your first darshan of Guruji would be like. When he wills this meeting to happen, he will penetrate into the core of your being. You will be denuded of all pretension. Your soul will be exposed to his gaze. And when you see yourself in him, when you glimpse your own lion-like divinity, you will truly be his disciple. Do not imagine that this meeting will not happen. Do not imagine that Guru was made up of the body and has disappeared into the void. There are more darshans to come, 100,000 meetings to happen, and a majestic promise to be fulfilled between Guruji and his beloved disciples. The promise of love, that the Guru and the disciple be united in the clasp of eternity. We can keep our part of the promise by beginning to know ourselves. For the Sadguru, our Guruji is a mirror put up before our eyes so that we can recognize ourselves. The Guru, as the word itself shows, removes the darkness, gu, of ignorance with the light, ru, of wisdom. In this nation's sacred tradition, the Guru is put on a pedestal even higher than that of gods. He is seen as the Sinqua of the spiritual journey. He is the guide without whom the tentative first time climber and the stalwart spiritual mountaineer are both lost. He is not only the path, not only the gate through which the seeker goes, but also the goal, the top of the mountain. He is the pole star in the journey from darkness to light, from ignorance to self illumination. And all the scriptures of the world are but feeble commentaries on his nature. They are the fingers that point to the moon. But when you have Guruji's darshan, the moon is right before you, incandescent. If you choose to avert your gaze, not once, but again and again, the light of truth is too strong for you. The Guru's call is to the divine in you. His word or shabad, his hukam or fiat, is like the pebble that hits the lake. The entire lake shivers with the form of its energy. And know that this energy is contagious. It is inescapable. Meeting the Guru or having his darshan is not like going for a social visit. It is like going to war, knowing you are going to lose. It is like watching a fire burn the house of your ego down. It is preparation to meet the highest. For the Satguru robs man of his defenses. You cannot win over the Satguru with words, alas. You cannot put an appearance before him. He knows the truth of your being. Accept that. Hide nothing. Don't play games with him. When you come to him, it is not who you are that matters. It is not how confounded you are or how dark your deeds were, or what promises of saintliness you are now making. What matters is whether you have said yes. That yes is the first, most firm footstep on the spiritual journey. That yes brings innumerable gifts. That yes clasps you to the Guru's being with a force that even death cannot sunder. Then yes, that yes brings the Guru's entire clemency, his grace to you. And that yes is perhaps the disciple's only task. The rest of the journey is a reaffirmation, footstep by footstep of the first step. That yes is the miracle. The rest are the miraculous details. An ancient prayer invokes the Guru as Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parbrahm, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. The Holy Trinity of gods. For the Guru's being is limitless. He is not just the creator Brahma, the preserver Vishnu, the resurrector Maheshwara, or God absolute Parbrahm. He is all creation himself. He is the thousand-eyed, thousand-limbed, thousand-mouthed God. He is the seed, the spore, the sap, the tree of life. No one knows him. The wise are silent about his nature. But before the mirror of the Guru, the disciple sees and knows. That seeing is the true darshan. All the rest are preliminaries that help lead him there. That knowing is truly touching the Guru's feet, for in that moment of illumination, the Guru is revealed. With footsteps of Shraddha, the disciple's journey towards the Guru is very strange. The disciple is blind, he is ignorant and cannot see the path. He cannot move ahead on his own. It is the Guru who leads him on. Thus, the Guru is not only the goal of the disciple, he is also the guide, the one to whom we are attached with the rope of faith on our mountain climb. Trust, thus, is the first prerequisite. If you cannot trust the Guru, you cannot be led. Hence, even though the Guru is the fountainhead of spirituality, it has been advocated that the would-be disciple check out the Guru before wholeheartedly accepting him. The Buddha advised as much. Just as gold is examined through burning, cutting and rubbing, so you should thoroughly test my teachings and accept them, but never out of reverence for me. Swami Vivekananda had such an attitude at first towards Shri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Once the young disciple wanted to test his master's statement that he was unaffected by money, so he put a coin below Ramakrishna's pillow. The Guru could not sleep that night. Vivekananda's test had merely proven the spiritual armor of his Guru. Rid of doubt, the disciple can then humbly approach the Guru. His relationship with his spiritual guide rests on a firm footing. He can entrust himself to his Guru in life as in death. Only after the strong foundation of trust or Shraddha has been laid is the spiritual superstructure built. Man has to realize anew that he is spiritual being made in his image. The Guru prods the disciple to realize his divinity. A small story narrates how a cub had been separated from his tribe of lions. He began to live with sheep. In time, his behavior became exactly like theirs. He no longer roared, he bleated. A tiger saw him one day and was overcome by surprise. He caught hold of the still young cub and gave him a hard shake. "What is the matter with you?" the tiger roared. "Why do you behave like sheep?" The terrified cub insisted that the tiger was mistaken. He was just a sheep. The tiger took the cub to a lake. The clear water reflected the cub's face. Immediately he realized his true nature. The Guru's none too easy task is somewhat similar. He demolishes the apparatus on which our mistaken identity rests. We are his children, not creatures of mortal flesh and feverish blood. We are divine personages clothed in hide, not desire-led animals. We are souls encased in bodies, not bodies with souls. Such a turnaround occurs only when the disciple truly touches the Guru's feet. That is, when his ego flakes away from his self. Only then does he receive the spiritual charge that wakes him up. The Guru is a spiritual powerhouse, transmitting the current of spirituality into his disciples. At his graceful touch, the disciple awakens. Much preparatory work has to be done, however. We are laden with the psychological ferment and karmic baggage of lifetimes. The powerful eddies generated by our karmas, acting on minds not equipped with right attitudes, can break our legs even as the journey begins. So the Guru puts us in situation where we learn life lessons. Armed with the X of right attitude, we hew our path through the many obstacles of life. The Guru's grace is never more evident when life comes up with a challenge or a test. At such times, to quicken the spiritual evolution of his child, the Guru can take the disciple's karma upon himself, alleviating its misery-causing effects, sensing that we are about to set our foot on karmic crevasse. He lifts us up and carries us on his own shoulders. What equanimous can be heaped on such a Guru? He can only be silently loved, fully followed. Yet, there are times when the disciple resents his Guru. The Guru leaves no psychological stone unturned to perfect his spiritual son. But the disciple's commitment wilts as the Guru operates on his mental makeup. Howsoever much the disciple may flinch from his Guru's ego-hurting blows, the Guru, bent on the disciple's perfection, carries his task through. At such weak moments, the disciple cannot summon the will required to thwart his habits, but he need only realize that the Guru is taking pains on his behalf. The Guru's sole interest, unlike the self-interest concealed in every human relationship, is the disciple. His only interest is to take the disciple Godward. Whether he moves mountains of karmas out of the disciple's way to do this, whether he heals him of a disease or of mental plagues, that is his wish. These are only means to the end of leading the disciple to God. The Guru selflessly spends a huge amount of energy and time in fashioning a disciple. The journey up the spiritual mountain is no picnic. Spirituality, as a Sadguru transmits it, is not a comfort-giving philosophy. It is no cosmetic cream that can make our social faces and psychological masks look more beautiful for the moment. It is not a set of rituals and rites that we can fulfill to gratify ourselves or to flatter God. The spiritual terrain is a life consuming affair. It is not a path that one's tread can be walked out of. Once you are with the Guru, once you accept his stewardship, you must go where he leads you. The Guru is our only chance to reclaim our divinity. He is the ladder that leads to God. He is the one who grants us self-realization. Everything in his hands is a device, from how he escapes the crowd to how he positions his relationship with us. But at all times, he is our Guru, no matter whether he's joking or lending an ear to happenings of the day. He is our Guru, first, foremost, and last. And only through pleasing him or through attempting to please him shall the disciple succeed in getting to his cherished goal. Remember also that the Guru is not to be literally emulated. There's a story of Adi Shankara and a disciple who used to imitate each and every action of the great master. On a pilgrimage, the master stopped to take some alcohol from the hands of a peasant. The disciple, close on his heels, did so likewise, and probably with great enthusiasm. Some distance ahead, the great Vedantist stopped again. Molten iron was coming out of iron foundry. Unconcernedly, Sri Shankara asked for the liquid, cupped his hands, and took a long sip. The disciple was disarmed. He could not follow the master now. The Guru's words have to be followed in the letter and spirit, no doubt. Yet the disciple should not imagine himself to be the Guru under any condition. It is much better to be continually engaged in lovingly remembering the Guru. That way, the Guru and the disciple are always linked in spirit. Spiritually, in the hands of the Guru is a weapon to disarm our ego. Unless we are ready to be thus mercilessly exposed, do not seek a Guru to say you follow him. If you come to a Guru, rest assured that you will not receive continual ego massages. In fact, once you have fallen for a Guru, even slight indications of his favor may disappear. The greatness of the Guru lies in that he takes us as we are, wants, warts and all. He loves us in spite of our blemishes. He sets no preconditions for our entering his path. Entirely self-sufficient, absorbed in cosmic bliss. He wants nothing, craves nothing. In his vision, all are alike. He sees no distinction, he favors none. Like the sky, he encompasses all without touching them. He is the eternal witness. His unblinking eye, steadfast on eternity, is intimate with each and every flowing thought in the stream of his disciples' minds. The Guru is the highest. He is incomparable. His grandeur is above even that of the lords of heaven. The sun, the moon, and the stars are but incrustation of finite cosmic dust on his robe. The Holy Trinity, the countless gods and goddesses, the yogic powers are at his feet, ready to do his bidding. The Guru is God. The Guru is Shiva himself. In the Shiv Purana, Lord Shiva defines Lord Brahma's plea to create beings bound by mortality. He instead vows to descend on earth to remove such beings from the incessant rounds of birth and deaths. He came as Guruji, in the dust of his feet. Ah, what a bliss! May Guruji have mercy on you and I. May the rain of his mercy fall on our foolish heads. May we, through the very charge of his being, be laid at his feet.